Hey peeps, welcome to TacosandGeeks.com reviews. Justin here, and today I'm going to be reviewing our RPG game Tokyo Xanadu X Plus. This is a game I really wanted to review last year, but just never got a chance to review it. And what you're going to start to see later or most of this year is that I'm going to be doing my backlog reviews of games that I never got a chance to review, that I did beat, that I never got a chance to review. So I'm going to be doing those games right now. So Tokyo Xanadu, as always, here is a brief synopsis about it. When high school student Tokisaka encounters the nightmare realm known as the Eclipse, his world is forever changed. In his definitive version of Tokyo Xanadu, experience the game in 60 FPS along with new scenarios, new playable characters, new modes, and more. And I had to say, I had one hell of a time with this RPG. And with the story, for those for our USA viewers, and some of those comic heads, the story reminds me a little bit, and I know this might sound crazy to some of you guys watching. This reminded me of Men in Black for some reason. You have this organization that's basically trying to keep the public, protecting the public in the shadows from an unseen benevolent force. And that's what the Tokyo Xanadu, you have Tokisaka and his friends. They're going to be members of a group called Nemesis, who are those who are protecting them from the baddies, the Eclipse. And one thing I did like about the story is that every character, every playable character, they have their own kind of individual arc. There's so much great characterization in this story. You root and you cheer, you have a connection towards these characters. Even the NPCs that are supporting cast that are within the story, they have their own backstories as well that you can connect with, that you can relate to, that you really want to see one thing with the story. I would say from a story standpoint, one thing I really didn't like, it does get a little bit into the anime tropes that you expect to see in anime, and it gets a little bit over melodramatic, but it didn't take away from the game, but it did keep me in. Voice acting is also well done, which I really did appreciate. And the graphics, as you can see from the use of coloring from the sunset to the sunrise, it looks gorgeous, especially in 60 FPS. Now, as far as gameplay goes, how does it play? This is an action RPG. And one thing you have to do is, of course, mostly in RPGs, we have dungeons, or in this case, we call them the labyrinths when it comes to battling the Eclipse. One thing this thing does is that you have more playable characters, but what you have to do when you, as the game progresses, that you have to check, as you can see here with Tokisaka, you see there's F, S, P, W. Those are what their strengths are, or what their abilities are. F for fire, W, and various other elements, they call them. So each character has their own particular element that they're strong against, and enemies in these labyrinths have elements that they're weak against. So before you enter a dungeon, it's wise to check which letter is most dominant in that labyrinth, so you can use that character in order to be having a higher advantage against the enemies. Now, gameplay and combat is very fluent here. It's very similar to a lot of action beat 'em ups where you're just hitting a button or doing various combinations to take down enemies, and you wield very much attacks. X button is to do your standard attack, circles to jump, squares for more powerful attack. Your R2 button will release a more powerful attack, and then you have your actual specials that some might be reminiscent of the style of gameplay that you'll see in the Tales series, with a little bit of elements of Kingdom Hearts in there, and it actually works very well for this franchise. And I thought it was really good to incorporate over more action RPG. One thing I will definitely say is that the labyrinth dungeons, I will say another flaw with the game is that the labyrinths, they're kind of, the designs are good, but at the same time, it kind of feels the same, and with just different colors and different layouts. There are different pathways, but it feels way too linear, and that probably might get people a little bit turned off, because it doesn't really feel any different. This is the special that I was talking about. It doesn't feel any different, but it just feels like you're in the same labyrinth, but different colors, different panels, and different pathways of this design, but it doesn't feel like you're different. It feels like everything's the same, and that's probably one of the biggest flaws. One thing also, as you can see me hitting these boxes here, those are to collect items that you can trade here in the real world. What you pick up in the Eclipse world, you can actually be used here with the allies of the Nemesis group. And as you can see here, every labyrinth that you enter, you can replay it as well to level up and grind. And this is what you call free time. One thing I did like about this game, something that you see in the Persona series as well, especially in the Persona 5, is that players will be able, since our characters are high school students, they obviously have free time. You can do quests, you can build relationship with your characters during your free time, and you have optional labyrinths to do as well, which can help you gain more items. So the game is really intricate and well thought out, and I really had a blast with it, mainly because of the characters and the way you upgrade your system is pretty cool as well. You'll never really be short on money as long as you do the labyrinths. And one thing I'm gonna show you here is that you're going to be able to exchange these gems that you pick up from the labyrinths in exchange for money, which I'm going to show you right now. So you go here, you go to one of these shops, and you go to you can buy items because they're allies. You can buy items to obviously upgrade your characters. And of course, it wouldn't be an RPG without combining elements to get stronger weapons or stronger gear. And here is the exchange, where you can exchange gems that you get in the labyrinth world and exchange it for real money. And thankfully, one thing I like about it is that the money that you exchange is really, like, the gems that you exchange has a high rate. So 500 was 5,000. So you really don't have, as long as you keep doing labyrinths, you really won't have to worry about money. You can really afford everything like that. I do appreciate. So you don't really have to heavily grind for money. The game does get a little bit challenging in order to get the true ending. There's certain things that you have to do, but overall, you guys, Tokyo Xanadu is an RPG. If you have not played it yet, I will definitely suggest this. I got it on sale on PS3 for $23, and that's just a really nice price. But even if it's at its full price, I definitely recommend it. It has some great character development, it has some great stories, some really good scenes, a little bit melodramatic at times that you expect from the JRPG that really is heavily on the anime scene. But overall, you guys, really enjoyed it. Some solid characters, some solid gameplay. It's very done well. 40 plus hours, really can't complain here. So definitely pick it up. I said this is a buy for me, so pick it up. This is Justin from Untitled Chapter saying, Lady Days, I'll catch you on the next review. Peace.